and welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, Absolutely Lower League, the show dedicated to all things EFL Championship, League One, League Two, the National League, and of course this week the FA Cup, which we are so excited to talk about. Really excited. But before we talk some football, what a team I've got tonight. What a team. We'll start with you first, Claire. How are you and how's your week been?
Yeah, all right. Worked a lot, but my team is still top of League Two, so you can complain.
Oh, boring.
Nick's not impressed.
He's only jealous.
I am very.
I'm jealous as well. I wish I was in League Two. Nick, how are you and how's your week been?
Yeah, the week's been really good, and I'll give you a flavour of it. See these? What do you reckon they are?
Piece of the white paper.
2 clean sheets for Swindon and Oxford City. How about that on the same weekend? 2 victories, 2 clean sheets. It don't get better than that.
Yes. I'm loving the yellow tie as well for transfer deadline
Well,
day.
I'm hoping we might sign somebody, but it doesn't look very likely at the moment.
You never know. You never know. They might be leaving it a little bit late for you, Nick.
Well, probably losing players more likely.
And of course, as you all know, we have got a special guest, and I'm so excited to be talking Maidstone with this special guest. So, Ben, how are you and how's your week been?
Yeah, it's been okay. I mean, covering
just okay. Okay.
I've had worse weeks, put it that way. Apart from getting a cold, I mean, the trouble is with these cup upsets, they seem to make me ill every time because I think the stress of it's just getting to me all the time. But yeah, it's been quite the week really for if you're a Maidstone United supporter. So yeah, I think we're all still on cloud 9 at the moment. So yeah, it's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Love that. And of course, it's not just us. We do have everybody in the chat. So we have our very own Mr. Luke, bless him, it was in the one last night as well. I love our viewers who come in because they support all the shows, don't they? So we are so thankful for all of your support. Mr. Luke has put, all right, everyone. Everyone's favourite Gateshead fan is here. You are our favourite Gateshead fan, Mr. Luke. Johnny, hey guys. Loving the yellow tie, Nick, Mr. Luke's put. We're all loving that tie. We have got Chris
mind you, it is a bit difficult to wear because I had to borrow it off of an Oxford United supporter.
Love it. The things you do, eh?
I know, God.
Everyone's loving it though, Nick, so I think you need to keep that tie.
Oh, difficult.
We've got Simon as well. Evening, everyone. Emotional week with Kyle McFadzine leaving us. Is it McFadzine? I'm really bad at pronouncing names, so I do apologise if I've actually butchered that one. Maidstone are in cloud 9, and then Mr. Lucas put, I remember when we played Maidstone last season, they were woeful at our place, but look at them now. Must feel on cloud 9.
Yeah, you could say that. I think I went to that Gateshead game at their place last year, and that was a real eye opener. We got absolutely ripped apart that day, and it was a very long journey back afterwards. You looked at Thrash 4-1, but they were excellent to be fair. And I know one of our players, Regan Booty's gone there, or ex-player, sorry, he's gone over there now this year. And he seems to be doing really well. So yeah, no, absolutely delighted for him.
I love that. I don't like playing Gateshead either. They've battered us this season. Absolutely battered us. So, but won't go into that. And we have got Jen as well saying, hey, hello, Jen, and thank you so much for joining us. So we will start with the FA Cup, and I think there's only one game we all want to speak about. Ipswich 1, Maidstone 2. So, Ben, how did that make you feel?
I wouldn't know if my feet had left the ground really since 2:30 on Saturday when the final whistle went. I mean, it was just the most incredible feeling as, any supporter of, lower league football, particularly for someone at the level that we play at, National League South. I mean, just last week we got beaten by Slough Town. I mean, I think it's fair to say I think the players' minds were on Saturday's game. But I thought the players were absolutely exceptional. I think don't get me wrong, we've had to rode our luck quite a bit. I think when we looked at the clock after about 5-7 minutes, they'd hit the post about twice and pulled off a couple of saves from our keeper. And I was thinking, we've got a long way to go here. I don't think I'd ever been so busy on the social media and everything, tweeting basically Ipswich chance. And it just seemed to be never ending. And then suddenly, out of absolutely nowhere, Liam Sol plays this absolutely blinding ball through for Lamar Reynolds. 9 times out of 10 this season, he can't finish his dinner in front of goal.
He's not watching.
No, I hope he don't. No, Lamar knows I love him. He do. I mean, he's such a humble guy. He is, and I was so pleased for him. Because what a way to get your first goal. I mean, like the goal was worthy. It's a world class finish for what the level we play at. I mean, that was a man who always
cracking goal. That was absolutely brilliant.
It was on his weaker foot as well. It was just such a cracking goal in that. And I mean, we knew we were only going to get limited chances against them. I didn't think we'd only have 2 opportunities in front of goal. To be fair. I mean, you look at the stats and that, and it says it all. Really, I think we play that game another 99 times, and Ipswich win every single time. Yeah. But you can't question the character that the players show. They're putting their bodies on the line for everything, and we all expected to go there. If we could nick a goal, for the Spurs, even if we were 4-0 down, the 90th minute we still get a goal. We just wanted our moment in front of the 4,500 that travelled. But to be leading at half time was enough for me, and I thought if we go and lose this game 4 or 5-1 now, I don't care. But then as soon as Sam Corn gets the second goal, you think, oh, actually, this could be happening, actually. And then suddenly you're looking at the clock, and I think with sort of 10 minutes to go, I'm going to myself, well, at least I know we're not going to get thrashed anymore. You get towards the 90th minute, you think, okay, we're probably going to lose by the odd goal. 97th minute, I'm going, right, we've got at least a replay here. And then it wasn't until the ball ended up in the corner, I thought we're actually going to win this, because you just had that feeling they'd get another chance, and our hearts would be broken. But honestly, I cannot explain the emotions that went out. I must have lost it plenty of times in that press box. I was a bit surprised that none of the Ipswich fans wanted to beat me up. It was quite incredible. But that's the thing. It's just, I think we're all just such on cloud nine. And say it's been such a mad week for the club and everything. Like media wise, the attention it's received, and we're absolutely delighted because it's put the club back on the map now where it should be.
How did it feel at the end when the whistle went?
I don't really know to explain it to, because I mean, let's say the last 2 rounds have been very different feeling, because when we played Barrow, we'd got to the second round. I think it was the 5th time we'd got there since the club reformed, and we just never quite got over the line to get into the 3rd round. And that game, obviously, I think if anyone's seen the pictures, George Elokobi was so emotional after the game; he was in tears on the pitch. And I think we all were, to be fair, because it was such a huge moment. It was 35 years since we'd last got to the 3rd round. And then the Stevenage game, to be fair, it was like, it was almost a state of shock. It was a different emotion because we'd never got there before. But when you go into a side, it's not just a championship side that are near the bottom and, the mid-table and that. This is a team that could be in the Premier League next season. I watched it against Leicester City last week. And even though they got a last-minute equaliser, after I turned the game off, I was like, we haven't got a hope, because it was a good performance from them. And when I saw the team they put out, and I know they'd made quite a lot of changes, but a lot of their players are still exceptional, for the standard, way better than what we've got down at our level. I mean, you've got Jeremy Sarmiento, who'd played in the World Cup for Ecuador. That was the sort of talent we was coming up against, and for us to have matched them, we've got a lot of players that never even got into the 1st round of the FA Cup before, let alone the 5th round. So for them, it's such a huge deal. And for myself personally, it is obviously the greatest moment. I think I've supported the club for 17 years, and it's certainly the greatest moment. We've had a lot of good memories since the boys have come back to the town, and that we had obviously 24 years away as a club. Playing at the likes of Sittingbourne, Ashford. I was there when we were getting crowds of about 150, and to see, if you told me about this on that Saturday, that we'd go into a side like Ipswich and getting anything for the game, let alone to go and win the game, I think anyone would have just laughed in your face, because it's absolutely incredible. Even when you go back to when the run started,
it's amazing. I think a lot of people kind of don't really appreciate the fact that a cup run like that for a club like Maidstone will be absolutely massive, and it'll help you probably to maybe progress as well as a club, won't it?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we want to do. We want to put ourselves on the map. I mean, last season was an absolute disaster for us. I mean, we got promoted. It was the best season I think we'd ever had at the Gallagher. We'd won the league by 6 clear points. Against we had Dorking chasing us. And everyone knows how good Dorking are aside. The profile they've had the last sort of 5-6 years or so, and and we got it completely wrong. We probably signed a bit too many of the players that got us up. To be fair, we probably put too much loyalty into them. You know, and I think that it was probably a mistake in hindsight. But I think, as someone that was behind the season, I thought it was a good decision to keep most of those players. And but then again, it just shows we got it completely wrong. And even then, you know, George, he wasn't everyone's first choice. I'm not afraid to say he wasn't probably my first choice to be manager. But this is why I don't run the football club, because the owner saw something in it that saw him that he could progress his side, make something of his own, because I think people realise that it wasn't his side when he inherited it, when we went down. And then, he's built a squad. They've been very careful this year with the signings they've made. And, we didn't know what to expect from this season. I mean, if we said, look, if you get to the first round of the FA Cup, that's a massive achievement for a club at our level. And even to get to the third round, it's monumental. But to get to the fifth round, it's absolutely crazy. And like I said, there's a reason why it hasn't happened for about, 45 years when Blythe Spartans done it. And Blythe Spartans are a name that still talks about today with their famous FA Cup run. The year actually that Ipswich won the cup as well. And it's going to live long in the memory for not just our supporters, but a lot of football supporters in general, because it's a rarity that won't happen very often. And I know full well that we don't want it to end. That's the thing. There's no reason, when we go into the next round, whoever we face, that we can't cause another upset, because our rise now is to try and get to the quarterfinals. If we could do that, I think it would be one of the biggest achievements being in English football, because I mean, it would be on a par for me with Leicester City winning the Premier League, because aside from our level, shouldn't even be getting to the third, fourth round, the fifth round. Last 16, we've gone further than loads of FA Cup winning sides, the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham. It's absolutely mad. And I think we're the only side now, I think, outside the Championship that's still in the cup as well, which I know will never happen again. So we're going to make the most of it while we can.
Yeah, you talked about obviously looking initially to get into the first round or past the first round. I mean, I'm just jealous of that. Swindon can't get past the first round ever. But when we always play a non-league club and we always get beat. I mean, Aldershot put 7 past us. We were 7-0 down. So I know, to see you guys where you are, it's brilliant, and I love it. And from what I gather, Ipswich were really respectful of you on the day.
They were,
and I don't know if you saw the interview with that Ten Hag down at Newport. How disrespectful he was to Newport, saying, "Oh, well, they didn't have a chance, and they didn't deserve anything." That was terrible. And it's really good to see, a club getting beat on their own ground, and just showing you the level of respect you deserve. So fair play to Ipswich. And obviously you deserved it. You worked your butt. I mean, the 2 goals were just out of this world. Really, really, really good. And I know some of your fans were disappointed with the draw, but I mean, if you get a big crowd at Cov or Sheffield, that's going to be some atmosphere, because they're cracking clubs. So it'll be a great day out for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
understand why they were disappointed as well, because they've got all that way through, beating Ipswich. And
but I think Man City were still left in the draw, Claire.
They were, that's what we were
they were looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like you say, Nick. I mean, Ipswich, were absolutely excellent with us. I mean, the staff, they were so accommodating to us. Even after the game, I've got all their media staff coming up to me, shaking my hand, saying congratulations. I mean, it's easy for a club at that level, to sort of throw their toys out of the pram a little bit, because they've, had 38 shots and that. But I think a lot of their fans truly appreciated what we've done. Because even their manager Kieran McKenna after the game was so gracious in defeat. He said, "Look, Maidstone came and done a job on us today, and we can't complain about it." Like say Ten Hag's interview, I just thought was, like I said, disrespectful to a team. That they'd pull them back. I mean, it's because it took a lot of character for them to come back from 2-0 down against a Premier League side, like Manchester United. And I think they were quite unlucky not to probably force at least a replay out of it. But I mean, that just shows the class. That Ipswich were, all their fans, were excellent. I don't think there was any trouble at all afterwards. I think you got all their fans going up to our supporters and telling them well done, and that was absolute class from Ipswich Town. I can't praise them highly enough for what they did for us.
I love that.
A funny question to ask now. I mean, it's not funny probably in the context of what happened, but how's the fan that fell?
I was just someone's asked that.
I'm pretty sure he was in the pub later on in the night, because actually I do know the supporter did fall off. I think, yeah, like I say, he was probably a bit dazed and probably a little bit intoxicated. But as far as the last comment I saw was where he's in the Duke of Marlborough, which is one of the main pubs in Maidstone. So I thought, oh, okay, so he must be all right then in that case. But yeah, obviously the story went out obviously about the fan that he landed on, which I didn't particularly like the whole things about being a war zone and stuff. And I was thinking, come on, it's like our supporters were absolutely excellent. I mean, you're going to get some nutters and that. It's probably their first game. They want to talk their fans and that sort of thing. But the only fans I could hear on from where I was just our supporters, and they were absolutely phenomenal. Throughout the whole 90 minutes. And I think that really did carry the lads over the line because they were dead out on their feet. At 90 minutes, they were dead out on their feet every time they got a chance. They could go down with cram. I don't think it was always tactical, that sort of thing. I generally think they just had nothing left in the tank because I noticed from the first 5 minutes of the game the difference between our level of football and the Championship, the way Ipswich kept the ball, because I really don't think, I say Ipswich didn't play that badly at all. I thought they were absolutely excellent. They just didn't take their chances. I mean, that was the difference. I mean, you've got players like Murray Hutchinson. Every time I was watching him, I thought he's going to do our left back in. Harry Cipriano's probably been one of our most reliable players this season, and he had a difficult game at left back because he's probably come up against one of the most talented wingers maybe in the Championship. He's been called the Wonder Boy, I believe. So that's the thing. It's nothing against Ipswich. I think we would just had that luck on the day that that you need to get through these sort of games. We had it against Stevenage as well. They had enough chance in the second half to beat us, didn't take them. I mean, we've probably run out of all of our luck now going into the fifth round, but I think for all of us, we're just happy to be there, in amongst that last 16, and knowing that we're going to be going there playing for a place in a quarter final of an FA Cup. It will never happen again, for as long as I live. And I think you've just got to make the most out of it. It's going to be an incredible night for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
This is why I love the FA Cup, and this is why it annoys me so much when these Premier League managers are going on about game congestions and replays. It shouldn't be replays. It angers me so much, and I love the FA Cup. Not just for like, obviously it's brilliant with the TV money and things like that, the ticket money, but also just these memories for fans, because when else are we going to get like memories like these and go into these football grounds? It's not going to happen that often, is it? So that's why it really does infuriate me with these Premier League managers.
Exactly.
So mad. Are your players part-time as well?
So we do 3 mornings a week. So we're technically hybrid. We are. So they do 3 mornings, a couple of hours a week. They do. I mean, some of the players do have part-time jobs outside, playing football. A lot of them probably do rely on their football money. But I mean, you've got people like Lamar Reynolds, obviously, who scored our first goal. I'm pretty sure he missed the draw on Sunday because he was working, because he's a bus driver for I think it's with young adults with autism, I believe. So I mean. So I remember him saying that in the interview in the press there, and I was thinking, I'm gutted. Like I say, you've got to be gutted for him, but that's the thing. But that's what it is, And a lot of people do say we're full time and that sort of thing. Like I say, we're not full time, And this is the thing that does annoy me sometimes. I mean, 3 mornings a week is perceived to be full time, but it's not. It's it's a couple of hours every for 3 mornings, and they can do other jobs outside of it. A lot of them do coaching, I believe. A lot of them actually tend to help out the academy side of things as well. So they're all heavily involved in that with the football club, not just from the playing side of things. And that's the thing, it brings the community in, and that's one thing that's really embraced the town. I mean, I'm going everywhere at the moment, and everyone knows about us at the moment. I'm seeing little things like on the buses and that. You've got come on you stones going across the buses and stuff, and that we haven't had that before, and it really has captured the imagination of the town. I mean, everyone's talking about us. I mean, I went into work on Monday morning, and I never thought it used to be cool to be a Maidstone fan, but it certainly was a Monday, because I had everyone coming up to me, and even the ones that don't like football were telling me, "Oh, well done, I saw the result." And I know it's never going to happen again, so I thought I might as well make the most out of it. I must have had the same conversation about 50 times with loads of people, but it's all worth it, and they know how much it means, for even a club of our size to get this far in the competition. So we're going to enjoy every moment of when we go out, whether it's Coventry or Sheffield Wednesday. It's going to be an incredible night. But as you were saying, Shah, I mean, obviously I'm disappointed, to be fair, that it's not going to be in a weekend game, because I feel like we get to this stage of the competition and it is there to suit the top 6, because they don't want the fixture congestion. And this is a shame for us, because you have probably got players that may have to book time off work to make sure they can go to this. I mean, it's going to be the biggest game of their careers, and because of fixture congestions. They don't want to have the extra game at the weekend and stuff, and it just, like I say, it just takes away a little bit the magic of the cup for me. And they should be embracing, for clubs at our level, to get this far, and pay on the Saturday and or the Sunday. I think it's absolutely crazy that we're having to go there on a midweek game, but it is what it is. And it's only annoying for me because I'm still waiting, obviously, for the outcome of the replay, and obviously whether we go on TV. I'd like to be able to go on TV again. Obviously, I'd have to book off a couple of days of work, and this is the thing that that people won't see. And I think, I dare say, from a media perspective, I'm probably the last volunteer left in the competition, to be fair, because every other person on the Twitter admin probably gets paid for what they do. I mean, I still have a job Monday to Friday. I do this job purely out of my love for the club. I mean, I've been doing it for 4 years now, and I absolutely love it. I've got to know the players a lot more. I mean, and it was an incredible experience. Obviously, on Saturday, getting to go into the changing room after the game. They were still in a high. They were, even after all the water had gone everywhere. It was a very wet floor in there, by the way, so I had to be very careful where I was standing. But they did clean it up, to be fair. I know that our boys won't leave it in an absolute state. But yeah, it's memories you've got to take in, because it doesn't happen very often. And I think all of our players, even a couple of hours after the game, they're all still in their kits, are going out on the pitch, FaceTiming their families and all that. That's exactly what it means to everyone. They're soaking up everything every second they can. I mean, it was one of those days where you just didn't want to leave the ground. Even though we were all absolutely shattered from the game and the build up and stuff, but you just didn't want to leave. You just wanted to stay there forever. I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. And again, I think I hope it inspires other clubs, from our level and below, to think that could be them one year, because you see a lot of National League clubs, and that's been the positive. Like the National League sides are starting to come into the fifth round a little bit more. We've seen in recent years with Boreham Wood. I'm pretty sure Lincoln City's memorable run, Sutton United. It can happen. That's the thing. I think people realise that the gap between in non-league and the football league is getting a lot shorter because of the standard of football. Obviously, you guys know, obviously the standard of the National League has become so much better now, and that's what shocked us last year. Hence why we went down, because we came from a level when we had the likes of Leighton Orient and Salford, who threw stupid money around. But we thought we'd learned our experiences from that, and then suddenly we come back up, and then you've got the likes of Wrexham and Notts County, who are throwing ridiculous amounts of money in. And I can see Claire's putting her eyes over it. So I guess it's Stockport when those clubs are, right?
Thanks for missing us out, though.
No, you know what though? I've visited Stockport County. We played, I think it was the FA Trophy a few years ago, and you know what? They were absolutely brilliant. Your fans, I'd say I've got nothing but respect for them. And although the replay was one of my lowest moments as a supporter, it was still brilliant. I'd say I love the county ground of that. It was absolutely brilliant. So yeah. Brilliant.
And I've got a lot of family in Sittingbourne, so I'll have a mission to come and see a game.
Yeah,
no, definitely. I'll say you're always welcome to come down. As I say, everyone's got to come down and try the pies. That's the thing. That's what we're famous for.
I love a good pie.
Yeah. No,
I do love a good pie.
A lot of people do tend to. This is the positive thing, like what we do at the club. I mean, I think a lot of the away supporters that come down say we've got some of the best pies in non-league football, and it's not being not us being biased or anything like that. They generally are. I mean, because they're made by a local company in the local area. It's all freshly made, and that it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, we try and make it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we try and make it a real supporting experience in that, and this is what I hope the cup's going to do for us a little bit. I mean, I hope they're going to put some money into for the supporters at the end of the day, because I know obviously they've got to replace the pitch. That's first and foremost. We need to replace the pitch because it is worn out now. I know they have to do little things, fix the toilets. They've got some boiler. They've got a boiler to sort out as well. But you just hope that the owners are going to put some money into putting it into the club to for supporters, for them to have a bit of a match day experience, basically, because we can't get all this way to the fifth round and not having something for them in return, for what they've given us and everything. So we hope that the money goes to some good, and obviously depending on how the next round goes, the amount of money we'll make, hopefully it can keep us in good stead for years to come.
You've swept me in anyway.
I know, same. I'm just smiling throughout it all. I honestly love to see things like this. I really do. And everyone in the chat as well have got a lot of questions for you, Ben. So
okay,
I'm going to fire some at
you.
So we have Chris, and he has put, Ben, what was it like having a league game after all that FA Cup craziness? Home versus Yeovil, that will be a tough one.
Well, I'm obviously the thing is that we actually had a Kent County Cup game on Tuesday night against Punjab United, which was a real bring me back down to earth sort of thing. We've gone from 27,000 to 700.
Oh.
We did win on penalties, and we played sort of a young side on that because we needed to give the players a rest. I have to say this is the only thing. The cup run has become a bit of a big distraction for us. I mean, the 3 games leading up to the Ipswich game, I think we'd lost 2 and drawn 1. I mean, on a paper, we should be beating teams like Slough, and I think we lost to Havant and Waterloo, who were second from bottom. But it's a difficult one to manage for the players because they don't want to get injured, for what is the biggest game of their careers, because they don't know if they're ever going to be here again. And Saturday, this is the thing that's obviously we've been caught up in a circus a little bit, with the media attention that's surrounding everyone. Everyone wants to talk about the cup, and as good as the cup run's been for us, our bread and butter is the league. We want to make sure we get in those playoff places this year, and it doesn't come much tougher than Yeovil Town, who have been the runaway leaders in the league. They've probably, for a club like them, shouldn't have gone down last year. I mean, with the the history and everything they've got, I mean, it's such a massive surprise to see them at this level. And everyone did back them to win the league, and I still think they'll go and win this league very comfortably. But it is going to be difficult to keep the players' feet on the ground. But I'm sure George has said from the moment the one game finishes, he always looks at the next one straight away. And I know, obviously, after all the celebration of Saturday, he would have been looking at the Punjab game straight away because he's such a professional in what he does. And if we can get something, like I said, get at least a good couple of wins before we head off to the 5th round game, then it just keeps in a good stem. We just need to stay in with the pack at the top of the National South.
I've got another one as well, and this is from Simon. He's a Coventry fan as well. Here's a question for Ben. Who do you want next if you had to choose, Coventry or Wednesday?
I take it there's only one right answer then here in that case. I mean, it's tough to say because I mean, geographically, obviously Coventry's nearer to us, obviously, and I think it's slightly a bigger stadium than Sheffield Wednesday. But the only thing obviously that scares me is the fact they're in the playoffs at the moment, and obviously they were last year's playoff finalists, so it'd be difficult with us. I don't think it matters really who we get in terms of the quality, because even though Sheffield Wednesday have been having quite a tough season down the bottom after promotion, they've still got plenty of quality, and it's still going to be better than us. So I don't think it matters too much who we play. I think maybe Sheffield Wednesday might not be, we might have a better chance. But again, in terms of an experience, to go and play a side like Coventry City, then I mean, the winners of the cup, I think it was back in is it 87? Or was it? Oh, sorry, 88. I can't quite remember now. Simon, I'm sure, can tell me the comments.
Yes, Simon will let us know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me too much because it's going to be either way. You've got an amazing historical side like Coventry, or you're going to say another historical ground like Hillsborough. I mean, it doesn't bother me too much. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to go embrace the occasion, and as the gaffer always says, you've just got to believe. They said that from day one. And if we can go there and give a good account of ourselves, don't disgrace ourselves in front of the TV cameras, then I don't think anyone will be able to complain. We don't want to go there to make up the numbers. We want to go there to really compete. And if we can take one of them all the way into the end, then I've got absolutely no problem with that at all. Because at the end of the day, they're 4 divisions above us both sides, so it's going to be difficult either way. And we might, like I said earlier, I think we might have run out of our luck now with terms of opposition teams in front of goal, but. Like I say, with the FA Cup, you just don't know, do you? It could just be one of those moments where a club from the 6th tier. I mean, we're talking. There's only been one non-league side in 100 odd years since since the non-league side reached the quarterfinals. Obviously, that being Lincoln City, and I've always aspired, with Lincoln's run. I mean, I remember watching it. I mean, I love the FA Cup every year. I always, love watching the non-league sides do well, and think every year I'm like, I'd love that to be us. That team that everyone talks about. And this is the thing. This may not happen again, so we've got to enjoy every single second of it. And I know the supporters certainly are, and the players are, and they're joining all the media attention and that. But that's the main thing is we've got to try and put a bit of perspective in and think, look, we've got about 4 or 5 league games still to play, over the sort of next 3-4 weeks before we go to Sheffield Wednesday or Coventry. So lads got to make sure they go and get some points out on the pitch, because that's the first, the most important thing is making sure we stay in that pack.
Definitely. Mr. Luke's reminiscing as well. He's put Gateshead and Maidstone came up together back in 21-22, the best season ever.
I can definitely agree with him on that one. Like I say, I think we both won the title quite comfortably in the end, and that was the thing when we went there. We thought it might be one of those games that was quite tight, and then, like I said earlier, they absolutely battered us in the day. It's a game I always try to forget, to be honest with you.
I agree that was a belting season.
Sorry,
it was a belting season.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, nice. That's the thing. And do you know what?
I'm not even going to ask.
We got promoted to the Football League.
Oh,
of course.
you?
Yeah. Sorry, I just slipped my mind completely. I tried to forget that. But at least you beat Wrexham to the title. That was the main thing.
I think did we get relegated from League One?
That was last year, darling.
No, that was League Two. We were in League One as well. I know it's a big shock. It's a big shock we're in League One.
It wasn't 2 seasons in a row, was it?
I'm sure.
Did you go down the same year as us from League One?
Oh, 1 minute. My headset. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
We can.
My headset's playing up, so I'm going to have to go off it. So Aled has put he's our Wrexham fan. Was hoping we would have had Wednesday away this season, partially because I would be able to meet up with my Wednesday supporting cousin. Bless him. And they're out, aren't they? Bless him. Morgman has put, was great to see so many Ipswich fans clapping the team afterwards.
Yeah, no, I think that was amazing. Oh, sorry, I could hear a bit of background noise there.
That might be me, 1 minute, let me have a mess around. Carry on talking a minute, guys. Only 1 sec.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? It was massively important to see all the Ipswich fans clap. I mean, the respect they gave our players, when they came off. I mean, there was so many still around. I mean, even when George and Kobe went all around the ground and that to clap their supporters, it was so much appreciated from them all, because it could have been easy to think, it's the worst defeat in our history. I don't, stop this, I'm off, sort of thing. But they really did appreciate the match of the cup, and that's what it's all about, because they're a side, like I say, going for the Premier League. It's incredible, the fact that we played in that sort of crowd. I mean, when we went to Wrexham last season, I thought that would be the best we'd come under in terms of an atmosphere, and it was a whole different world for us. But going to Ipswich, that was just completely different. I mean, and it was a massive credit to them that they pretty much nearly sold out, the game, because for those sort of games, when you're playing a non-league side, it's probably easy for them to only have about half of that crowd in. But they showed give us a huge amount of respect by, everyone buying a ticket. I mean, there was 27,000 there in the end, and it really made for a great atmosphere. So we really do appreciate the Ipswich fans coming out in their numbers for that.
I'm back. It's always me. No matter which podcast I'm on, I always mess up somehow. So I do apologise, everyone. I think it's just me in general. So I do apologise. I don't know how we won an award for being a good podcast, this one, because I'm on it. But yeah. Simon in the chat has said, if we'd been in that situation, I'd be disappointed at drawing another championship team if I was a Maidstone fan.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, when the draw did come out, like you say, Manchester City was still in there. I think you're talking 3 balls, and we only needed Luton Town to come out, and it would have, been a tie that would have changed just about every aspect of this football club. But we've never had the luck with draws, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, it took me a few days to come around for the Ipswich guys to actually think, do you know what? It's actually a really good draw. And I'm sure once we know for definite who we're playing, I'm sure it's going to be the same thing again. I mean, the fact we're even competing against these sort of sides is incredible. And I think, if it had been a Manchester City or a Liverpool or a Chelsea, then, that would have been an absolute bonus. But I think the fact is it's given us a better opportunity of getting through, though. That's the thing, because had we come up against one of those bigger sides, we would have gone down 5-6-0 without a doubt. And, I'm not saying Ipswich, wouldn't have done that to us, because, like I said, every other time they would beat us very comfortably. It was just that one time we went there and thought, do you know what, it's going to be our day. And, the players, responded to that magnificently. And, they deserve a huge amount of credit for that.
Another question as well from Mr. Luke. He has put, do you fear that some of your players might leave in the summer for higher opposition due to the FA Cup run?
I think when you look at it, I mean, you've got our goalkeeper, Lucas Coverland, who's, a real cult hero. His performance was absolutely sensational. I think there's not many performances I've seen like that from a Maidstone goalkeeper for so many years. And
did he used to play for Chesterfield?
No, we got him from Chesterfield. he was there last season, and he got left out the side quite a lot. So we only got him, I think, 48 hours before the season started.
Wow.
So he was very much a lucky coup for us because we were pretty much without a number one. We had Harley Earl, who's one of our own sort of goalkeepers. He's come through the academy and that. He's an excellent goalkeeper, but he wasn't really sort of the number one, if you like. So yeah, Lucas came in and he's been magnificent. But I think had you compared that to the game he had against Havant and Waterlooville a couple of weeks before that, I don't think anyone would have looked at signing him because he had an absolute clanger he did that day. But I do, yeah, it does fear me that these sort of cup runs that we can lose. I mean, we've already lost Levi Manchi to Bromley this year. The man who had scored 20 odd goals for us by sort of November, December time, and that's incredible. We haven't had a goal scorer like that for so long. And I do fear losing the likes of Lucas because of how good of a goalkeeper he is. I mean, I think he's early 30s, so he's still quite young for a goalkeeper. And I dare say if a league club came in for him and that, he wouldn't want to pass on the opportunity. I mean, you've got some young players as well that we've got coming through that certainly could give it a go at a higher level. But yeah, I think that is certainly one of the biggest fears we've got. But the thing that's really pleased me is the fact that we are bringing through good young players. I mean, it almost made me a bit emotional, but by the end of the game, we had 3 players on there that are our academy lads. You had Bibish Gurung, who's a homegrown lad. You had Perry Iandolo. He used to come and watch games as a kid. Obviously, his brother plays for your lot, Nick, doesn't he still? Is it Ellis?
No, at Colchester now.
Oh, Colchester.
He was their longest serving player. So
okay,
yeah,
I've missed that
yeah,
one.
he had a lot of trouble injuries and yeah, then he moved on. When I think Ben Garner signed him. He used to be a manager when he was there. So because he's got I don't know how many more, because he's got about 9 brothers, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's quite a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I am a lot, honestly. I lose count of them, to be honest. But
yeah, so I don't know how many more are coming through.
No, like I say, it's only going to continue to grow, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then like I say, we have Riley Court, 17-year-old academy lad. We've only just brought him through to the first team this year. He's only had his first experience of the first team football a couple of months ago. And it was an incredible experience for him. He was absolutely, sensational. He's not a young player that's not afraid to get stuck in. I mean, he really sort of went in for it, a lot of tackles, and he's a very vocal lad even towards the senior players. And yeah, that's the thing. It really pleases me that we bring these young players through. So if we are to lose some players, due to bigger clubs coming in for them, then we've got more of an opportunity to bring through some new younger players through the system.
I'm scared to move in case this goes off. I'm going to have to stay like this. I know. I'm going to have to stay like this, like really still. Claire was laughing at me.
I know. I do want Ben to think I was laughing at him.
No, everyone knows you're laughing at me. That's just a standard. Oh, honestly, I do not know what's going on. But
Don't stop.
I know. I'm going to have to stay really still now. Just in the chat as well, Aled has actually put on the cup ties. Chelsea would have been a good tie because it was either Villa or Chelsea. So definitely would have had a Premiership tie no matter who won the replay. And based on locality? Is that how you say it? Woo! Getting better. Chelsea would have been good for Maidstone.
It would have been, to be fair, because I mean, it'd been the dream tie for me because Chelsea are my Premier League side. My first involvement with football, so it'd have been Chelsea Maidstone. No, I mean, do you know what? It's one of the things where it gives you one of the pleasures of top flight football. The fact you've got a team to back and everything. I mean, I've been Chelsea since I was like 8 years old, so they were my first involvement before my dad introduced me to Maidstone. But yeah, that would have been the dream tie. And like I say, even to go to Villa Park would have been brilliant. But I'm sure we'll learn to live with either one of Coventry or Sheffield Wednesday. We've played against worse teams this year, so we can't complain about that.
And we've got Graham as well, who's just joined us. Evening, Graham. I hope you're okay. But yeah, it's been really good to talk about Maidstone. I've really enjoyed it. You'll have to come on again as well next round.
Yeah. Hopefully I won't be too gutted or in tears or anything like that after it. So
hopefully I'll have a new headset as well by then. Obviously, just going on to the FA Cup as well, the other games. Nick, any standouts for you?
Yeah,
it's not really now. I feel like this is a bit of, we should have done this first, I think, because nothing will top the Maidstone Ipswich, will it?
No, I'd probably Luton winning at Everton. That's quite a good result, although Luton have been doing really well, as I'm sure you've highlighted previously. Man City go again, and I thought they might lose one at Tottenham. But yeah, it was really apart from Maidstone, it's pretty boring, really. The FA Cup results. I mean, what is an FA Cup game? I'm not really sure. We don't do FA Cups.
Same.
So it's pretty boring.
Yeah, it's obviously only really Newport, isn't it, as well? Obviously, they gave United like a really good game. That goal as well. Like, I will take that first goal for Newport. They were actually talking about Rochdale at the time as well. And they was actually saying about when we took Spurs to a replay and they had to stop talking about us because of that goal. It was like a wow moment. So, yeah, that was really impressive. And I thought Newport, to be fair, they did very well. Didn't really get the credit from Ten Hag, as we all said previously, but who's going to give it? He's not going to really, is he? But then I think Khaled actually said it in the chat where he actually spoke to Newport's manager afterwards. And
let me just get rid of my dog.
Wine.
Yeah,
all goes on in here.
Yeah, the problem is Charlie, these foreign managers coming in do not understand the history of the FA Cup and what it means to teams outside of the Prem. And they're all moaning about, we want to get rid of replays and we want it all for what we want to do. They got massive squads, they can rotate, there's no excuse. So you just get fed up with them constantly moaning and griping. And fair play to Newport. I mean, they pulled it back from you thought they were going to get absolutely hammered. What was it, about 12 minutes they was 2-0 down, something like that. And to pull it back to 2 each, brilliant. So hopefully they've run out of steam because we play them on Saturday. So we'll see what happens there. But I just don't like the disrespect that some of these top teams show. Some are good. I mean, we played Man City a few seasons ago at our place and they were brilliant, really good. So some of them know how to act and be respectful of clubs, but unfortunately, say with a lot of the foreign managers, they just don't understand the history and what it means to people.
Definitely. I actually spoke about it on the Premier League podcast as well, and I had a big rant, so I won't rant about it again. But the one that annoyed me the most, I think, was Nuno, because when they were talking about, I think, was it the Carabao Cup when Blackpool played Nottingham Forest, or was it the FA Cup? It was one of the two anyway. And obviously Blackpool took them to a replay and he basically said you should scrap replays, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And I think this is coming from someone who managed Wolves in the Championship. So they were an EFL club. Obviously, they were a Championship side, so they didn't need the money as much as obviously our clubs. But I just think to myself, the game congestion, they need to take a look at us as well, because further down the pyramid, we have international players as well. I mean, we've got an international player, Cairo Mitchell. So all the way down to like National League, and obviously if one's lower than that, we have internationals as well. We also have to have qualifiers for the FA Cup. Yeah. Bearing in mind, we didn't get there, so it doesn't matter with us because we didn't even qualify. We won't talk about that though. But we have to qualify for that. Obviously, we have the FA Trophy as well. The EFL clubs have the Carabao Cup. They have the, I don't know what it's called now, but it was the Papa John's Trophy.
Don't forget more matches as well than they have in the Premier League.
Yeah, we obviously have more in our leagues as well. We don't have the squad depth that they all have. They have academy players. They have all these different players. They have the investment. So it really does anger me, but I won't go much further into that because I've already had my rant. But yeah, coming from him, who's obviously been in our situation, not obviously as bad because he was an EFL manager in the Championship and they had money. But yeah, it just angers me so much because he should know better.
Yeah. I mean, talking about Wolves as well, though, like that crowd trouble. Oh my God! Like, why? And I heard firstly that West Brom had put the Wolves family and friends in the back of the family stand, and they'd celebrated when they'd scored. But it turns out it wasn't family and friends. It was just random Wolves fans that had got tickets in there. But it ended up being like scenes like the 80s and the 90s where there was loads of football hooliganism, like during the match. And whilst I will never understand going to the football for a fight, at least now, most people do it away from the football, and they don't they don't disrupt other people that have got no interest in it. I just don't understand it at all. But for like, especially in such a fierce local derby, the Black Country derby, like, they need to do better checks to make sure that doesn't happen again, because some of the scenes are terrible. And I read on Twitter about this poor woman with an autistic child that was sitting there near the front, and they did get moved to near the technical area. But, like, kids shouldn't have to be seeing that anyway. No one should have to see it. Like, just # don't be a dick.
Yeah, there's not much more you can say, is it? It's just trouble is it only takes a couple to start it, and then it kicks off.
It's ridiculous. I think there's been a lot this weekend as well. Did you see that? Obviously, we'll get onto it. I think it was the League One game. Was it Portsmouth, Port Vale, where that fan ran on after the penalty decision and chased the referee?
Yeah, well, they got history, Port Vale. Don't talk about them.
There was that lady as well. I think it was actually in the Wolves West Brom game where the lady ran on the pitch and kicked the ball. I thought, my God.
She was wasted, wasn't she? And
she was well steaming, wasn't she? God,
kitchen.
I thought
get back in the kitchen.
She'd necked a few baby shams.
I know. I was there thinking to myself, like, come on, love. Joey Barton's going to have a field day with us. Come on. God, give me strength.
Yeah. I'd love to be in a dark room with him. After talking about, obviously.
Yeah, I have to say, you don't violence.
I've never had a fight in my life. I wouldn't know what I was doing. I just do it, mate. I'm doing that then.
By the way, everyone watching, we do not tolerate violence. It was just a joke. We don't tolerate violence on this podcast, especially after just saying about so Ale just gave us his thoughts, obviously, on the Blackburn Wrexham game. He's put, I was expecting an away loss against tough opposition in Blackburn. The 2 division difference definitely shown in the game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and enjoyed an evening in Blackburn, but I think the stewarding outside the ground could have been better.
I've heard a lot about that with it being bad. I know Stacey said that her and a little boy got ushered in, so a little boy didn't get squashed. It just sounds like it was maybe badly organised. Kind of a shame that Wrexham got knocked out, because a fixture pile-up might have been nice for us. No, but in all seriousness, no, I did watch some of the match, and I thought Wrexham's defending was pretty woeful in parts, and the goalkeeper, Arthur Okonkwo, I know he's on loan from Arsenal and they all love him, and I can only judge on what I've seen, including last season on loan at Crewe. I don't rate him a lot. I know, obviously, I led you lot do, but I think it was somewhat down to mistakes that it ended up 4-1 rather than anything else.
Yeah, but I think their defending's been poor all season, though, isn't it? You know, they score a lot of goals, but they let in a lot of goals.
That's the thing. You just have to outscore your opponent. But I do think, if anything, when push comes to shove, that could cost them the title.
I think, to be honest, I watched the game as well, actually, the Blackburn game, and I thought, to be fair, like say the difference between the two sides was enormous. To be fair, I think Wrexham know that they've got a lot of work to do. I mean, even then, they knew when they got promoted last year that they need to really strengthen to compete at this level. And all by me, they're doing that at the moment. They're doing really well. I think they've just signed Jack Marriott, I think it's believers today. So yeah, they do mean business in that, and I think they realise if they get up to League One that they're going to have to really strengthen, because I think the difference between League Two and League One's a massive gap. I always said that the difference between the National League and League Two isn't too much of a difference. From what I see anyway, because all the promoted sides normally tend to do quite well. Yeah. But when you go from League Two to League One, so it is. I think though the difference from League Two and League One is massive, and I think they know if they go up, they're really going to have to, pull all the stocks out to make sure that they can compete at that level still.
Yeah, but they're bringing players in now. It looks like preparing for League One, because my understanding is they can spend money this season, and there's no restriction on them. Whereas next season they'll be under fair play rules.
No, they're under financial fair play, and the only reason I know is because we were asking about it last season, and they have basically got a ridiculous amount of leverage because of the money they get from Disney Plus.
I thought they were allowed a season where they didn't have the restriction, but no.
I asked club last season, but because we got told by Liam off Lower League Look that we were spending stupid because we weren't under regulations, and I got told it was bullshit.
Right.
But yeah, there is. It's a myth that there's nothing the first season, but because of their money that they get from Disney Plus, it doesn't matter. Like, they get an obscene amount of money, and fair play to them. Spend it how you need to spend it.
Yeah.
I wish we had a Disney Plus series. Just for me outside the chippy eating a pie. Starting scene, me there going
jazz.
Oh, not that again.
Talking about you.
Oh, bloody hell. Just going back. I've lost my bearings now. Simon has put, talking about Blackburn is making me upset with Fads going there. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I hate it when a player leaves. I keep checking Dale as well to see if we've got any outgoings, because always in a January transfer window we lose a key player, and I'm hoping it's not Tyree Sinclair. Aled put as well, 2 Blackburn goals were down to errors on our side, but they definitely scored 4 great goals against us. Welcome to Rochdale, I tell you what. That'd be interesting. It'd be like Jeremy Kyle and Shameless in one documentary with a bit of football on the side. And Graham's put, God knows how we've not got a Netflix documentary, all our crazy going-ons.
Because no one would watch it, Graham.
Oh.
Moving on. quickly.
Joking.
So we only have a few championship results from the weekend and during the week. So on Saturday we had Millwall 1, Preston 1. We won't really talk about that because it was a 1-1. Sunderland, no. I feel sorry for Anne. He only ever comes on when Sunderland have lost, doesn't it?
I know.
They've actually managed to win.
Didn't they?
I know. They obviously beat Stoke 3-1, QPR 1, Huddersfield 1, Coventry City 2, Bristol City 2. So if you want to send us your thoughts on that game, Simon, please go ahead. Leicester, obviously doing what Leicester are doing well this season, winning another game. They beat Swansea 3-1. Do we all think Leicester are going to win the league? I ask every week. But aren't they?
Yeah, they're a Premier League side, in the Championship. For me, it's no question until they'll go straight out this year.
Oh, Graham's put shots fired as well. I think that's about the documentary that no one would watch it. Sam, someone you know very well, Claire. They announced last season they turned over 20 mil, mostly down to Disney Fair Play.
Oh, look at Daisy in that picture.
I know. So cute. Oh, Aled, to be fair, I said he'd watch it. So yeah, Claire. Aled would watch it if we get one viewer. Too.
Thick of his fish cake.
And Sheffield Wednesday 0, Watford 0. We'll just have a quick look at the table. Leicester are top. They have 69 points. Ipswich are second with 59 points. The playoffs are really interesting. I mean, Southampton and Leeds are really closing in, aren't they, on Ipswich?
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to concede this now. I think Ipswich will be lucky to stay in the playoffs.
Yeah, certainly bring that down to earth now after last week, wasn't it? Because must have hit a new low after that.
Well. You have to think, are they going to have a hangover from last Saturday, or are they going to have the bit between their teeth and go out all guns blazing?
I think it's hard to say really because, like I said, where they made 10 changes against us, they've rested a lot of players. Gathering that they want to focus on the league, albeit the side was still good enough to beat us. The quality they've got through this side and the way Kieran McKenna's got them playing this year is absolutely exceptional. From where they've come from, from League One last year to now, they've got the momentum with them. And I always find with sides that get promoted, they're looking to get another promotion. If they don't get promotion in that first year, then they might well struggle with, it's always a second season syndrome, isn't it? Where they might end up being near the bottom. You just don't know, do you? But I do find that, like I say, maybe at this current moment, I know they've, I think was it 2 wins in 9 or something like that for them in Ipswich. So yeah, I think judging that form, you're all right, Claire. I think they would be lucky to stay in and around the playoffs at the moment. But I think the gap from their first half of the season might just keep them in good stead.
Yeah. Looking at the form table as well, though, I can't remember how I look at it now. Form table, the last 5 games, they're second in the form table apparently, but that can't be right because they've drawn 4 out of 5.
I think the teams are closing up the gap around them. Those, like I say, you see that Leeds and Southampton are really close. I was going to say Ipswich was so comfortable in second at one point, and now suddenly it's you don't win a few games and you draw a couple, and then suddenly the tables turn, don't they? And that Southampton and Leeds, the quality they've got for their size, and like I say, it is an interesting playoff because at the moment for me it would be too hard. It would be too hard to call at the moment about who would go up from there because they're all quality sides. Even Coventry, their season last year, it's incredible what they're doing at the moment.
And they're in great form now, aren't they? I know, from what I could gather on Tuesday, whenever it was, they just look really leggy. But just looking at this now, both Southampton and Leeds have both won 4 out of the last 5 games. So, yeah, they're doing all right, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think
it's on a good run.
I think it's a confidence thing, isn't it? Though, like if Ipswich can just again get a win under the belt, then suddenly another run starts for them again. That's the thing. I think everyone knows that every team has a dip during the season. Doesn't matter where you are in the league, and I think they're just going through that slight spell at the moment. But I'm sure once they get even just a scrappy 1-0 win, then they can get another run started and stay in and around that automatic promotion spot, because I'm sure that'll be what they're aiming for, because in the playoff, as we know, it's anyone's game, isn't it?
Completely agree. Just going back to Coventry as well, Simon has put, we were so poor against Bristol, unlucky to get a point. Ben Sheaf went off injured and we went to shit after that. Bless him. Still in the playoffs as well. 5th, we have West Brom. There's a bit of a gap, isn't there, between obviously West Brom and Leeds. They are 5th on 45 points. Coventry are 6th on 44 points. And then the bottom teams, obviously, in 22nd, we have QPR with 25 points. Sheffield Wednesday are 23rd with 23 points. And Rotherham are bottom of the league with 19 points. And obviously, just above that is Huddersfield. And was it this week they parted company with Darren Moore?
Yeah. Just realised I've got that on my head.
That was expected, to be fair. I wasn't shocked at the news. I don't think they've brought anyone in yet, have they?
No,
I'm sure. Do you reckon Neil Warnock's a guy? I mean, he loves the relegation battle, doesn't he?
Not again, surely.
And he's this Yorkshire man as well, isn't he? So really, it'd be a good move for him.
Exactly. I mean, I think he said last time, though, he'd prefer a promotion battle rather than relegation. But to be fair, he's good at what he does, isn't he? He did it last season. We have as well our very own Sam in the chat. He's put, evening, wonderful team. Nick absolutely smashing it with the yellow tie.
Yes.
He is. Just going back to the chat as well, everyone's having a little conversation amongst themselves, which is really nice to see. I'm hoping my headset's not going as well because I can hear fuzzing. So I do apologise again if it goes off.
I can't hear you.
I could hear you. It went louder then. Simon has put, Neil Warnock's probably sat waiting for the phone to ring. I reckon so. League One. So I'll start with you first, Ben. Any standout results for you in League One?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, always keep an eye as much as probably League One. I mean, for Stevenage and that to go and get a win at Wigan. I mean, it's not an easy place to go ever for them. Obviously, again, they're a side, their first season back, at League One level, and I think Steve Evans is building, something special down there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got an excellent side, and to go somewhere like to the DW is not an easy task for them. I think they got a late goal there as well. So yeah, and I think that's a result that will certainly keep them within that playoff pack, which is where they want to be come the end of the season.
Word has it that Farley's still recovering from his weekend in Liverpool.
Is that why we've not heard from him for a little bit? Bless him. I love it.
That's a great result. That
completely agree. Nick, any standouts for you?
Yeah, Bristol Rovers beating Oxford United. I mean, I don't know which is what I want to lose more than the other, so don't like either of those. Yeah, actually, Shrewsbury Ant's adopted team. That's a good win at Northampton because that's usually a difficult place to go and get a victory. And it was the other one I picked out. Oh, Portsmouth got back on the winning trail because they'd been struggling for a while to get an away win over at Vale. And probably for me, the main one would be Exeter City to win away because they've been really struggling. And I mean, I don't know where they are in the league. We'll see in a minute, but they probably are still in danger of getting relegated again. But yeah, that's a good 3 points for them going up to Barnsley all the way from Exeter. So good, yeah, really good result there.
Yeah,
definitely. Claire, any for you?
So Exeter would have been my standout. Because like you say, they're not doing terribly well at the minute. I think the beauty for them is the bottom of that league is pretty tight, and I know they've won 3 out of the 5 last games, and it's pulled them away a little bit, so they're more mid-table now.
Yeah.
But having said that, they are only still 6 points off that drop zone, so I think the relegation fight in League One is very juicy for a mutual.
Completely agree. Sean in the chat as well is obviously a Northampton fan. He has put, the game above Port Vale looks a bit dodgy and I shall leave it at that. I want to hear all about this and I want to hear why Louis Molden got recalled and you've not played him. So please give me your thoughts, Sean, on the game and Louis Molden.
It's probably the perfect time to talk about that incident with the fan on the pitch as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously in that Port Vale game, a fan did invade the pitch because they weren't happy with the ref. Now, how many times have we sat there moaning about a decision that's gone against our team? It does not give you the right to go on the pitch and encroach someone who's doing their job. Like, at the end of the day, you have to look for the officials as well. I mean, I'm not saying run on the pitch and get the officials as well, but most of the time, like, a liner might miss a chance or anything like that. So, like, don't be a dick. Just, like, you can't just take it upon yourself to run on the pitch because you're not happy with a decision. And I hope that fan gets banned for life because it's completely out of order, completely wrong. It's just not acceptable. Like, there's no excuse. Like, if you like that when you have a drink, stop drinking so much. And if you're going to go out and take drugs and do something like that, stop taking drugs, because obviously it makes you a menace that should be nowhere a football ground in the first place. We've all, like I say, we've all had our issues with refs, but I'd rather like it if we kept VAR out of the lower leagues because I'm not about that life.
Agree 100%. Everything you've said, I actually agree with you on that. Yeah, spot on.
And everyone listening as well, she did mean, as she clarified, don't go for the ref or the officials. That's what made me laugh. I was like, that's why I went. I wasn't laughing about the situation, anybody, I promise.
No,
it was
but
just
the thing is, like, there's like, everyone moans week in, week out, the standard of officiating. Oh, that's what I'm bloody about to say as well, Darren. Yeah. I'll let you off because you're a Stockport fan. Like, this, people moan about the standard of officiating, like, getting lower. But is it any wonder? Like, who else gets as much abuse? Like, your forward might miss 10 shots on goal to score that ref might make one error. But then that's what you're going to go home and talk about. Look at your own team. If there's one goal in it, that's down to your team. It's not down to the fucking ref. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's all right. I completely agree.
I do think there's also a lack of, training for referees as well. I do feel a bit sorry for them, even ones at lower level, because, at the end of the day, they're sort of thrown into it a little bit. And I think there probably needs to be more of a support barrier for them as well. I mean, like you say, there is a reason why there is a shortage of refs at the moment. Why, maybe ones from the lower leagues are getting promoted to, the Football League much quicker because, they haven't got enough refs to be dealing with it. So I think, that's the thing. I think more needs to be helped for the officials. I think personally, like I say, I don't condone what, like I say, running on a pitch and, as a fan, because I say we've all had bad decisions go against us, it's cost us games and, points and where teams finish at the end of the season. It's all happened to all of us, but it still doesn't give anyone the right, to go on and do what's someone's job, because at the end of the day, what is it going to achieve, by doing it? Like, what does that person gain out of it? And I just, you can't believe your eyes. Like you say, Claire, I think that ban, they should be banned for life, not allowed anywhere near a football ground, to be honest, because it's a criminal offence as well to be going on the pitch. That's what they always say.
The police should also be involved as well with him, shouldn't they?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but Claire mentioned VAR there. That must have a knock-on effect, because what are there 3, 4, 5 referees sat in VAR? Well, you take that. What's that? 10 Prem games a weekend. So that takes 30 or 40 refs out of the system. So that has a knock-on effect, because then you're trying to move referees up from a lower league to go into the Prem and then up into the Championship and so on. So coming all the way down, by the time it gets into League Two in the National League, you're probably ending up with a lot of inexperienced referees because there aren't the bodies to do it. So, I mean, they really do need to look at the whole setup.
Yeah, I do really need as well 3 or 4 refs, per VAR again. It might only take 1 or 2.
To be honest, I just thought there was 3 or 4 in total, and they covered every match.
I have no idea. Every time they always seem to put a screen, it does seem like there is quite a fair few, sitting in there. And does it really take that many people to make a decision? And when after all of it, they tend to get decisions wrong anyway.
Well, I was going to say that.
That's why it takes 5 minutes to make a decision, because there's too many people in there.
And this is where
bring back football where errors are accepted, because VAR is just a pile of shite.
Yeah, I'll back you on that, because had we had VAR in place on Saturday, we wouldn't have won. So because the second goal was a definite foul on their player. So I'm quite glad for VAR to stay out of lower league.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want it. Nobody outside the Prem wants it. I don't think most people in the Prem want it, to be honest, as well.
Just going back to the chat as well, Chris has put, let's not go back to the 70s, 80s with these pitch invasions, please.
The only time it's acceptable is if you win in the league, or, I mean, we spoke about this before, some people say still not then. If you win the league and I'm sorry, I love a pitch invasion when you win the league and it's accepted.
No. No.
Oh, no, it's beautiful.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
We will, darling. We will. I mean, Uncle Nick.
To be fair, I'm always ready for a pitch invasion when we don't concede from a corner. I'm all for that. Or when we actually keep a clean sheet. That's when I'm ready to pitch invade.
Every single team that got to Wembley in the playoff final of last season had a pitch invasion on the playoff semi-final win.
Yeah, and look what happened at Port Vale when they started assaulting Swindon players.
Well, yeah, that's never okay.
No, exactly. So
and celebrate.
keep off the pitch, stay in the stands, and enjoy your team.
No, see, then again, the season we got promoted from the National League to League Two, I've got a picture of me on the pitch, very heavily pregnant, and that's, for me, that's like a memory that I've got forever.
Yeah, still.
And they're holding my scarf up, staying away. I was staying away from the crowd so I didn't get stampeded.
I can see the both sides of it though, because obviously when we beat Stevenage, we did have a pitch invasion, and unfortunately it had its good and bad sides, because obviously everyone got to get towards all the players. There was a real, it was a brilliant moment, but at the same time I think we had supporters break their legs, because they were getting stumbled on, and again I think that was one that maybe should have been policed a little bit better. like I say, you don't know what idiots can go on the pitch, and
exactly.
cause all these issues. And that is where I do see it from both sides. But like I say, when we won the league a couple of years ago, everyone went on the pitch. It was a fantastic moment for everyone. But you do always just have that fear in the back of the mind that someone's going to go and wind up some of the opposition players, or look to go for the ref or something. I don't know. That you don't know what they're capable of, and that's where it can get quite dangerous.
What's really funny about the time that we won the league, the referee had kind of like warned and it waved all the opposition players and the liners towards the tunnel before he blew the whistle.
That's the thing. Like, if you know that sort of thing, that's the thing. If you take all the context into it, then you might have to just go like pre-warn and say, look, there might be a pitch invasion here. You might need to get out of the way quite quickly. So, but yeah, like, it's a difficult one to see. Like, say, both sides of things.
Yeah,
but I think it depends on sort of the scenario, really. I mean, that's the thing. Like teams in playoffs and that, they always tend to go to pitch because they're going to Wembley or their team gets promoted. Yeah, you want to go and celebrate with the players and stuff. But at the end of like you say, Claire, don't be a dick when you do it. Basically, if you're going to do it, go and enjoy it with your team. Don't go and winding up opposition players or officials or management teams and that sort of thing, or even the opposition fans. Just go and enjoy the moment with your team. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
I remember when we got promoted and I went running on the pitch and fell.
Of course you did.
I went sliding and it was like a bit of a muddy bit as well. So yeah, no one's probably surprised at that, have they?
No.
Graham has put as well. Port Vale have banned
good.
Good. Shani as well. So Louis Molden is currently a backup to Lee Burge because Max Thompson has gone back to Newcastle and we can't really put a youth goalkeeper on the bench. But he was playing football for us. He got 5 assists for us. 5 assists. I'm still
bad form, that Shawnee. Bad form.
I know. Even though it's not your fault because Bulls recalled him. So I do apologise, but I am taking it out on you right now. You're the only one here. Sorry. Darren has put, well said, Claire. There is not much support, to be honest. A local FA just want your money and that's it. In the chat as well, Dave's County has put, at what level do refs not need to have a second job?
That's a good question, and maybe that's something Darren can answer because he is lower down than that ref. But I know there's someone at my work who was running the line for a Stockport game, and he saw my shirt and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing your game on Saturday," and I was like, "Hey, well, if you work here, make sure you help us out, won't you?"
Simon has put in the chat, pitch invasions after getting to Wembley or staying up on the last game of a season is the only time fans should go on the pitch.
Simon, you're missing actually like getting automatic promotion out there.
Oh, God.
Oh, not conceding from a corner.
Sorry, Uncle Nick.
Mr.
Do you know
Luke,
what? If Swindon ever get to a point where they might win the league, I'm going to go to the match and I'm going to carry you on the pitch myself.
To be fair, I think Nick's for pitch invading if Swindon sign a player tonight, aren't you, Nick?
Well, it's going to be difficult because we're not allowed to spend any money because we're under a transfer embargo.
Yeah.
We can only sign players that we don't have to spend money on. So, yeah, it's difficult. Very difficult at the moment.
There you go. Select Group 2 is full-time Championship level.
And in the chat as well, Mr. Lucas put, saw the pitch invasion at Maidstone versus Stevenage. Someone recorded themselves giving it large to Steve Evans when we was walking off the pitch.
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen that clip. Yeah. But do you know what? I did find that quite unacceptable, really, because do you know what? Steve Evans was absolutely brilliant afterwards. I think he went into the change room and he just went, I hope you get a fucking good draw. He said, he was absolutely brilliant because he could have easily blamed the ref at all for why they lost in the day because they did have a lot going against them.
He couldn't go to Greg's and get his sausage roll.
There's plenty around Mason. There's about 3 or 4 in the local town area, so he wasn't far away from any of them.
That's his next club line up then.
But seriously, he was absolutely brilliant, after the game, and fair credit to him. even had I not seen that interview, I did think it was like, again, it's like one of those things where you go, just celebrate with the team.
Claire's
Don't go winding them up.
Claire's had enough of us.
I don't blame it, to be
fair. Just on League One as well, I wanted to point out, obviously, my highlight results are, I think Fleetwood did pretty well because they are struggling, and obviously to get a draw away from Wickham. And I'm going to be nice about Fleetwood now. I won't go into it yet. I will get onto it when I talk about Rochdale. But yeah, I'm sorry, Fleetwood, for calling you. And I thought that was a very good result away at Wickham.
Why did you kick me out?
I didn't. You went totally off. I didn't kick you out. I promise. I promise.
You were thrown off the pitch.
Steward came.
That's it. Red card. Off.
And I wanted to point out as well, obviously Tuesday's game is on there. Oxford United 2, Portsmouth 2. I think that's a fantastic result as well for Oxford against Portsmouth. So
yeah, I
they
think
are my two highlights.
They got a late equaliser, didn't they? Oxford?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they did. Just looking at the League One table as well. So top of the league, we have Portsmouth on 60 points. Bolton with a few games in hand as well. I actually think Bolton are going to win League One. I just think they've added some new additions as well in January, and they've got the games in hand, and yeah, they've just got a good side about them. They are second on 57 points. Peterborough are third on 56 points. Derby are on the same points as well in fourth. We have Barnsley, who are in fifth on 52 points. And Oxford are sixth on 50 points. And then just going to the relegation, we have Reading, who are 21st on 27 points. Cheltenham are 22nd on 23 points. Carlisle below them on 20 points. And then Fleetwood are at the bottom on 19 points.
Don't forget to mention, for Farley's sake, that Stevenage are only 1 point off the playoffs with 2 games in hand over Oxford.
I tell you what, I actually said this on a preview show as well. I think they were the ones to watch because I just think with Steve Evans' experience, but I think they've actually signed very good players for League One because Matt's mentioned it as well. I can't call him Matt actually. Farley's mentioned it as well, where you see some of the other teams who have obviously gone up from League Two to League One, and they don't really get the signings like at a League One level, and that's where they struggle more. But I feel like with Stevenage, they play some really good football. They play attacking football as well, and I feel like they've signed the right kind of players for that. And yeah, I really want Stevenage to do well for Farley, but as well just for Stevenage, because it weren't that long ago really that they were non-league, and I just think their story is just fantastic.
And I think the difference as well is, I think the fact they managed to hold on to Jamie Reid, after a great season they had last year. And I think, again, I always say the difference, if you're going to go up, you need a goal scorer. And, he's been that man for them the last couple of years. So you do fear for Stevenage if he was to get injured, have they got a backup on him? But, when you look at it, like I say, the games in hand they have, if they were to pick up maximum points, with the games they had over Portsmouth, they could really close the gap on them as well. And that's the thing. If they could just get a few more results together, then by means you can't say they wouldn't be out of still the automatic promotion race. I mean, I know, Farley might say different on that. Because their aim would probably be to get in the playoffs, and if they did, that's like say it's a tremendous achievement for them to say there wasn't that long ago they were playing, the conference football, and for them to be this close to the championship. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Stevens are one of the biggest clubs in that level. When you look at your likes of your Portsmouth, your Boltons, Wiggins, and that, they probably are one of the smallest clubs in terms of support base. And if they did manage to get themselves to the playoffs, what an achievement! And who's to say they can't go and do it and go and get themselves back-to-back promotions.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't agree with that comment about bottom 3. I'd say bottom 2, yeah. But then Carlisle have signed some good players. And also, Cheltenham have got a game in hand over Reading, which would take them only 1 point below them. And actually, Cheltenham are staying up.
Who do you think are going to get dragged into
statement.
it? Charlton.
Yeah.
Sorry, Graham.
They're struggling, aren't they? Really struggling. And Port Vale as well.
It won't be long till good old Rocker Boys back at Wickham either.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I can't think of what's gone wrong at Charlton, to be honest. You know, like I say, they were championship. I mean, they got promoted in that playoff final. I just can't believe the drop. Yeah, I mean,
they change their manager every few months, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, they've already had problems with ownership in the past. I remember all the protests they used to do with throwing all the tennis balls on the pitch.
Yeah.
And you think they'd got past that stage, and to see them dropping the way they are, it's unbelievable. And that's the thing. If they could well be playing the league term. I feel for the likes of Reading as well, because Reading have had their issues off the pitch as well. And it wasn't that long ago they were a Premier League side as well. And I think it just shows what happens, when these teams do drop out of the Premier League. Some really do struggle to come back. I mean, even Blackpool, they're only just on their way back. And you've got the likes of Reading and Charlton that have slipped down, the pyramid quite a bit. And, even the clubs that go past Yeovil and that, they're slipped down to the National South and everything. It's amazing what this all happens. And I always find if you get relegated, the first things first is to make sure you stay up the next season, because there's nothing worse than double relegation, because it really can set you back as a club. And that's the thing. I think that's what Yeovil had. And yeah, well, but the thing is, but that's the thing. It's held you in good stead, though, hasn't it? I mean, I know it took you quite a lot of time to get out of the National North, but that's the thing. Once you've done it, you push your way through it, and look where they are now. I think Stockport are going to be playing League One football next season. If it were down to me, the support base, they are a League One setup, and that's where they were before, not that long ago. So again, like I say, it's taking time, but you're on the way back there.
Yeah, and the really good thing, like with us now, we got taken over not long after we got promoted, and the guy's like a local Stockport man who is absolutely wadded, but he's not just putting money in to the playing squad, like his like revamps like a load of the ground. We've got a training ground which we've not had for years. It's actually Manchester City's old training ground, so it's really like high spec. And it's actually won us like the signatures of some players because of the infrastructure, including like Nick Powell. Yeah. But you're right. It can be a struggle when you go down if you don't kind of try and consolidate.
Yeah, but your club's got a proper plan, haven't they? What they want to do, and you're setting up the infrastructure to do it. And that's where clubs fail. They go up a league and they haven't moved on from the league they've come from.
Yeah.
You've got to look as though you're going to go in the league above and be set up for that. And I think that's what, from what I've read, that's what Stockport are doing. And they seem to have the model right.
I love Uncle Nick. He reads up on everything. I think it's great.
I'm just jealous. That's all it is. What about my club doing?
Just going back to the chat, Chris has put Orient was that sort of thing as well, like Charlton.
Yeah, to agree.
Graham has put as well, we are very close to agreeing to get Nathan Jones as our next manager. Sam has put, agree with Cheltenham, unlucky against Derby. Darren has put 3 relegations in 4 seasons. And Simon has put, we probably would have been National League now if we hadn't appointed Mark Robbins before we went down to League 2 because of bad ownership. So sad, isn't it? Bad ownership. I know.
Bit not proper.
Yeah, drives me around a twist. We're fan owned as well, so we don't really have that.
Anyway, next page.
Oh. I'll shut up then.
Sorry.
It's all right. All right.
Carry on though.
No, I was just saying we don't have that problem because we're fan owned, but the only problem is with us because we are fan owned. We do need to take that next level and get someone to kind of invest as well, because that's our problem. Because we are fan owned, we don't have the budget as these other players. But I will get into that
what
later.
You were talking about before sounded good though,
I'll talk about that after if you want. I'll let you have your moment first. So before we talk about Swindon and Stockport, is there any more standout results for anyone?
Harrogate are absolutely smashing it at the minute. I think I read something like they've not lost since whenever. Apart from, the thing is, all the teams that they've played and beat have all been in the bottom half of the league. So apart from Notts County, and they've been having a little bit of a purple patch. So we play them on Saturday, so it really will be interesting to go into that game.
I think the biggest result for me is Salford beating Crewe.
I was going to say Salford.
Hopefully they get another result this weekend, Uncle Nick.
Who do they play?
All these teams doing you favours.
Wrexham.
Definitely Wrexham.
Yeah, because Smithy got a hat-trick, didn't he, for Salford, I think?
Big slabhead.
Yeah.
I think as well, Colchester's win against Morecambe to sort of help pull them away a little bit further away from relegation zone. So they've had a bit of a tough time this season, and Morecambe, like I say, are quite clear a bit at the moment. So to go away from home, long trip out Morecambe, like I say, that's a fantastic 3 points for them. That is
definitely.
Who wants to go first? And out of you two, I need to go get a drink of water as well.
Uncle Nick.
Yeah, for a rare victory for us. We've got a new interim manager in, which was good to see. And he actually changed the formation to what we've been crying out for, with going 4 at the back. And we've actually looked really solid, which obviously proved by not conceding. Everybody was saying, well, it's just Bradford and they're really poor and they're the worst side we've seen. But at the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you. Charlie Austin opened the scoring from a penalty, his 3rd goal in 3 games. So he scored the last 3, albeit 2 were penalties, but you still got to make the chances and put them away. We've had a couple of new signings. McCarthy's on loan centre back, 6 foot plus centre back, which we've been crying out for. We got Devoy, who's on loan from Milton Keynes. It seems we're their development club to develop players and send them back, which is a bit irks us, but he did have a good game. And we've got a young kiddie called Glatzel from Liverpool that we've signed as a permanent. He won the penalty and he looks sharp as. His movement was absolutely outstanding. So hopefully he can keep that up, and that gives us a bit of hope moving forward. And it all depends now is really what we do in the transfer window. And just looking, and there's big rumours. How much is in it is debatable. That we might be getting Harry McCurdy back on loan from Hibs. Now, whether that would work is a different matter, because McCurdy is a bit of a loose cannon, to say the least. But he did well for us when he was here, and that was probably the best season he'd ever had. So, I mean, if we got McCurdy back, everybody would be absolutely buzzing. But I'd be surprised if it happens. But it is quite a strong rumour in there.
Did he have heart surgery or something?
He did. Yeah, he was out for half the season with hearts. I think they do a regular medical. I think the players have like a monthly medical now, and it was picked up. Yeah, and he had heart surgery. So I think he's been on the bench the last few games. So he's back to playing, which is great for him. But it said, apparently it looks like they want to offload him for the rest of this season. Whether he would come back to us is a different matter. Who knows? But yeah, it would certainly get somebody who gets you off your seat. But whether he can replicate what he did previously is a different matter, because a lot of the time you say you should never go back to a club, because very often it doesn't work out. But so we'll wait and see. But yeah, it was a really good 3 points that we desperately needed, because we were in danger of slipping down, getting too near that relegation zone. But the league, as I've said so many times, it's so crazy that if you could put a run together of 3 or 4 games, you're back in the playoffs, and it's absolutely crazy. But you've got to do it on the pitch. So and we're down at Newport on, I think it's the early kickoff actually, 12:30 on Saturday. So that'll be a tester. Say with new, interim manager, different formation that we're playing. We're playing a 4-3-3, which worked well on Saturday. So it's a bit more positive on the pitch. There's lots of stuff going on off the pitch. There was a fans forum on Tuesday, which was quite heated. A bit of a car crash from a couple of people on the panel, but I'll leave that out for now. So trying to concentrate on what's going on the pitch, which was a positive on Saturday, and hopefully another one on this coming Saturday.
And how's Saidu Khan been getting on for you?
Actually, he's done well this season. There's a lot of debate. Is he a defensive midfielder or not? He sort of plays in that role, but most of our fans in the other podcast I'm on, Fools Rush In, 90% say he's definitely not a defensive midfielder. He had a bad record last season with getting sent off 3 or 4 times. And I was quite surprised to read the other day that we have, and I really shouldn't say it, but we haven't had a player sent off this season. So, and he's done really well in that regard. I mean, when he plays well, he is a bloody good player.
Yeah.
But he's probably, I mean, he's in League Two for a reason, isn't he? And, if he was more consistent, he wouldn't be in League Two. And there's lots of rumours that Wrexham were looking at him. So how much truth is in that, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I quite like him, but I say it is probably he's a bit of a Marmite character with a lot of the fans.
He was very much.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, go for it, Claire.
No, you.
I would say he was a player I admire because obviously we were lucky to have him at Maidstone a few years ago. He was very, very much, a player that John Steele brought in, as a trialist, sort of come from the unknown, and he was absolutely exceptional for us. And like you say, when he plays well, he's the best player on the pitch by far. Yeah. And we always thought he'd play at a higher level. And it was a bit of a shame to see him go in the way he did, because obviously it was during COVID season. I think we lost him.
Right.
And obviously he'd sort of moved on, but I'm pleased to say he's doing really well, because like I say, he's he was far too good for our level and that. So he's definitely for me a League Two.
Yeah, it does worry you if he sits on the edge of the area, because he does do these little pirouettes around with the ball, taking it around the player, and you think, God, you're going to get caught, and you get caught too near our goal, and it's what's going to happen. So, but in fairness, most of the time it works, and he gets out of trouble. So do what you're good at, I guess. So
100%.
I quite like him, but say it is a bit mixed.
Oh.
Claire, what was you going to say? What was your
I was waiting.
I was trying to remember, to be honest. It must have been shy, but actually it was just who are you playing on Saturday? Who you playing on Saturday? I forgot.
Newport. I told you about 3 times.
I know, but I said I forgot.
Yeah, Newport, early kickoff, 12:30 kickoff, I think.
I like an early kickoff because you get so much of the day after.
Oh,
that's
it.
Do you want to speak some Stockport, Claire? I mean, who's top of the league?
You know what though? Like, I'm honestly just loving it. Like, and I know everyone enjoys the club doing well and blah blah blah. And I'm just a typical fan who's enjoying a team being top of the league.
Yeah,
but I think, I got into supporting Stockport when they were challenging at the top half of the championship, as it is now. And I never thought I'd be going to watch my team play regional part-time football. And Darren will tell you, considering what we used to, there was some really, really, really down times where you'd turn up and there would be like 2,000 people in the crowd, and we were getting beat by bloody Vauxhall Motors and stuff like that. And you're just like, how has this happened to my team? And it wasn't any disrespect to those teams. But I think Darren probably feels the same. And I always feel like I shouldn't keep banging on saying the same thing. But because I've witnessed all that low, like, I'm just loving the fact that we're not that low anymore. Like the progression, even though obviously we didn't get promoted to the National League until 2019. For 10 years in a row, we've finished every season in a better position than we have the year before. So, like, getting back into the Football League was always the ultimate, like, and at points I never thought it would happen. So last season, everything was, oh, well, it's Football League. And genuinely, when we went to Wembley, I was just like, I'm happy that I'm going to Wembley. I'm happy that my club's like competing again. And for that reason, I wasn't dead disappointed when we got beat there. And very much this season, I still feel like I'm a bit on cloud nine because we're competing at the right end of League Two. Like just seeing us go out and win, seeing us get these players, like, it's just mint. Like, I just love it. And, like, obviously it's my team, but, like, 5 headers we scored on Saturday. I didn't go because I was out for my friend's birthday, but obviously it's rare for me to not go. But 5 headers, we had something like 16 shots or 16 attempts on goal. Doncaster had 2, and one of them was the one that they scored. We were 2-0 up in 11 minutes, and I think Dave Challoner now is kind of getting on the thing of you need to start the game really well and get an early goal. I might just say, like, in massive, for God's sake, massive credit to Dave Challoner is that he's progressing with us, because last season we started slow. Like, even though we'd been with Hartlepool in League Two, he hadn't, like, managed them for a full season because he came to us October, was it? And like, he's had to learn and adapt what he's already done, but he's a winning manager and his record speaks for itself as a manager. He wins, he gets promoted, and I just think him at such a young age for a manager, like, I don't know what age he is, he just seems quite young. But for him to keep progressing, it's just a pleasure. Like, it really is just a pleasure. And I know I keep going, he's top of League Two. And to be honest, half of it's just like, I don't believe we're top of League Two. Like,
embrace it.
Like, pinch me. Like, is it real? So I'm not bothered about winning a league, and I've said that for ages. I just want to finish top 3. I want us to go back to League One properly, because when we went up to League One last season, we were skint, and we spent money twice, for example, that we didn't actually have in the first place. Yeah. And then starts our money issues. So last time we went up, I'd probably rather we didn't, because we couldn't afford to. Whereas now we've got the backing of a brilliant businessman who's local. Like, we've got more fans than we've ever had, really, on a regular basis. Like, we're getting 10,000 at Edgeley Park, like, not just now and again. Like, we've seen some pretty special wins as well, like Sutton 8-0 at home, like, before Christmas. Like, that was just unreal. But yeah, just mint.
I love it. Oh, I love how happy you are. That makes me smile, that.
And I know Uncle Nick's bored of me saying he's top of League Two now, but I'm sorry.
No, you know, we take the mick out of each other. Now, that's exactly what you should do as a fan, and absolutely love it while you're there, because, like, you know, like most of us, 90% of the time it's shit, and 10% of the time, if you're lucky, it's really good. So you just got to make the most of it and enjoy it while you can, because, you know, just keep going and just absolutely love it and take it.
Yeah. Can you imagine me on here if we actually get promoted? I'll be literally crying for the whole podcast.
That's usually me just on a general, innit? We do have a question for you as well, Claire. Sam has put, who's the team not currently in the top 3? Who's the team not currently in the top 3 you think are the biggest threat to your promotion chances? Should we have a look at the table?
Can I answer that without sounding big-headed? Because I don't mean to. And I've got an answer for it already. Nobody. Like, nobody outside of the top 3. Nobody inside of the top 3. The only thing that would cost us promotion is if we fuck it up. Like, you have to go with your own game. Yeah. Like, we started slow yet again, but we've improved, we've learned, we've adapted, we've gone from playing to Kyle Wotton's strengths to playing to the strength and the team that's out there on that day. and we're growing, and I'm not worried. I think we'll go up.
Yeah, I think you will. On a similar question then, Claire, who can you see out of the teams in the playoff places now getting into the top three? I don't think you're in any danger, so you'll be fine. But who can you see getting in there?
Top three stays as it is for me.
See,
I think it is all on that. What Sam said actually, and every time he puts something, I just see Lord Daisy. Sorry, I'm just so obsessed with my little kid.
Sorry.
We just need our players to stay fit. And Nick Paul's masterclass coming out, I think, is since we signed him, it's been good, but he's been injured a lot. So keeping him fit now, for me, is one of the most important things. Louis Barry's coming back as well from his injury at some point.
Yeah, that'll make a difference.
Louis Barry! Oh my God, he's so good. He's so good. You can never fall in love with a lone player, but fuck me, that kid's fell in love with us as well. I love it. I just love him.
Because you've got another lad. You've got another Villa player, haven't you, on loan?
Yeah, Rico Richards, and apparently he's very much like Louis Barry.
Is he played yet?
He played as a sub on Saturday. Apparently,
right.
It looked all right, but it probably needs a little bit more game time.
Yeah.
But if he's anything like Louis Barry, then he'll smash it for us. And I really love that we're establishing that relationship with Villa as well, because we had I can't remember his name. We had someone a couple of seasons ago on loan from him, and he didn't end up playing a massive amount, but he loved the experience of being around our squad and our club, to the point that he went back like, I've had the best loan experience.
Yeah.
And then they trust us, so like they sent Louis Barry to us, and they've let us keep Louis Barry even though he's had to have this up and he's had this serious injury. But he himself is like, I want to go and finish the season with Stockport. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else. And Rico Richards, like, he's had the chat of, like, Stockport's a really good club, so, go, and it's just...
I
Keep
love
smiling,
it.
girl. Keep
time.
smiling.
I love that.
I'm always positive anyway, and even when we weren't winning at the start of the season, I always said, I'm not worried. And I just think... Sam texted me when I forget stuff. He was called I am Reiki.
Oh, bless him. I love that.
I know. It's a good one, really. Yeah, it's just good. Like, after so much shit and so many, like, no offense to any club, but going somewhere like Brackley that you've never heard of, and I'm sorry, but Brackley's just, you always have a team that you're like, fuck's sake, not them again. It was always Brackley for me. Like, they always beat us, and it was such a small little village, and I just didn't like it.
That just killed me off. That's funny, that.
If we get promoted this season, we've all got to have an absolute football podcast night out and celebrate.
In Brackley. Sorry.
I couldn't
resist.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I was looking to buy a house there.
It probably is a nice place to live, but Jesus Christ, it's not a nice place to go to football.
Chris agrees with you as well. He doesn't like going back to either.
Oh, honestly, there's no words. It's worse than Friald.
Just looking at the League 2 table then. So top of the league, as Claire mentioned, we have Stockport County on 57 points. I love it. I expect you to take that to the next game you go to. Please, I dare you.
Imagine.
I've come with me drum.
Cries out of Daisy, Jesus Christ. As soon as she gets up in the morning, it's drum on. She don't bang it. She just walks around with a drum on.
Oh, that's so cute. In second, we have Wrexham with 52 points. Third is Mansfield with 51 points. And then the playoffs are Barrow in fourth on 50 points. Crewe are in fifth, also on 50 points. MK Dons, I'm going to get shouted at now because I put MK Dons together. 48 points in sixth. Notts County, seventh on 44 points. And then I have a massive feeling the relegation is just going to stay the same. It's a bit similar to last season, I think, when obviously we got relegated, and obviously Hartlepool did as well. Sutton United are 23rd with 21 points, and then bottom of the league are Forest Green. I don't see any of them getting out of it. Are we all in agreement?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, Sutton, they had their chance a couple of years ago when they got promoted, and they nearly finished the playoffs. And I think it's just catching up with them now, playing at this level.
They are the worst team I have ever seen, and I mean ever. The day we played them, they had the Christmas party in Manchester, and I don't know if they were all just like giddy for the Christmas party, but to go anywhere and get beat 8-0, like, and your keeper get man of the match, like. I mean, obviously it was meant for us, but
I mean, as well, it's a massive step back as well for Forest Green as well, where they were a couple of years ago in League One, and now suddenly, they're probably heading back down to the National League, which I know for their ambitious owner, he's going to want to, been up in the playoff area and that. So this will be a massive step back.
Though, innit?
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Don't get me wrong. He wants an all-wood stadium, doesn't he, and all that. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even want to. Unfortunately, I haven't gone to their ground. I don't think I want to because I don't think that would not get any
don't. I've been.
That is the worst ground to go to. It's the worst to get to, even though from where we are and I am, it's geographically close. And the way they steward fans is bordering on dangerous and trouble, in people being in danger of getting hurt. It is the worst setup I've ever been to.
So you'll be quite glad to see him go out.
Yeah. So I mean, I can remember the days when they were playing in the Hellenic League, prior to where they are now, and that's not. Well, I suppose it's quite a long time ago now because I'm getting on. But, yeah, they're going to go down and they're going to be where they deserve to be. And it's terrible.
Just talking about dangers as well. I know we're kind of past the results now, but can I just say about Mansfield? Not about the game, but about their staff and the conduct. They are a dirty team, which fair, if you're getting results being a dirty team, go and be a dirty team, whatever. But Nigel Clough came out in his interview post-match. This is legit, by the way. He said in his post-match interview that they're going to report the fourth official to the FA. Guess what he did? Smiled at a member of staff after the match. That's all he did. How is that worthy of being reported? Anyway, he's been charged, but their assistant manager went from the dugout into the stand and went face to face with a Wimbledon fan because he didn't like what he was saying. That is not acceptable.
Wow.
Say about fans not going on the pitch. For a member of staff to go and do that, that is abhorrent.
Bloody hell. Wow.
They just need to book their ideas up. Go and do your thing on the pitch. If people want to be negative about it and you're still in third place, let them crack on.
Completely agree. Before we move on as well, I'm just looking at them two teams at the bottom, and just from a National League point of view as well, I don't want to brag too much because obviously we've gone down to National League, but do you know, you had your Chesterfields and your Wrexhams and obviously your Notts Counties. I think if Sutton and Forest Green were to get relegated, it wouldn't be kind of like that, next season if they were the two to go down. You usually have one of the big boys who get relegated the season before. I wouldn't really see myself that intimidated by them two teams.
No.
I agree with that statement. I think the National League is a lot tougher than it was when they were last in it. A lot tougher. you've got harder hitting teams, you've got teams that have got more investment. I mean, look, like Shamanga has gone back to Boreham Wood today. Like,
yeah, I saw that.
There's really, really good players in that league, and they definitely won't find it as easy.
No. Moving on to National League anyway, because I will have to talk about us. But I'll just ask you all first, any standout results, and please don't say Aldershot.
Ulti have
Smashing
doing
it.
really well this season, aren't they? They seem to have got a good setup back together, and Hartlepool as well got a good win. I know they've been struggling on and off, so yeah, those two.
I would have to repair Oxford City's win against Ipswich. You know, I think in terms of where they are stature of a club and that sort of thing. And you know, I know Ipswich have had a bit of a difficult week. I think now because they've sacked Dennis Kutcher now, haven't they? You know, do you know what? I think I didn't give Oxford City enough credit because I generally thought they'd probably get a lower points total than what we did last year, which I didn't think was possible. But you know, do you know what? They've really competed in that league this year. You know, with the limited resources they've got, and you know, fair play to them. I think that's a victory that puts them back in the mix to stay up.
Yeah, completely agree. Gateshead as well. We have Mr. Luke, who's very happy, very happy. So we will let him have his moment. So he has put, so this game was a game of two halves for sure. In the first half, we were quite poor, and even though they scored and we had some chances, it wasn't great at all in the first half. After that goal, second half, we started to get into the game slightly, and then some subs we put on changed the game on its head, basically. By the way, Luke Hannon has quite possibly scored the goal of the season for me, a volley into the top corner. What an absolute unreal goal. Got Southend away tomorrow, going to be a tough game, but hopefully we can get something from that game. Back-to-back winning.
Tomorrow?
Please.
Why are you playing tomorrow?
They sometimes do, don't they, on a Friday? Is it televised? Is it televised?
Gateshead to Southend is a long way on a Friday night. I mean, it's the same distance as a Saturday, but you know what I mean.
Chris has also mentioned as well Dorking winning away against Boreham Wood. Obviously, Woking, I'm not just saying it because it is Oldham, but I think that's a massive result for Woking winning at Oldham. They've signed a lot of players as well this transfer window. I think they might have got a couple more in today, Oldham. So it wouldn't surprise me if they really did push on now. But even though they've got the players, they are very inconsistent still, aren't they, Oldham? And it's usually these teams near the bottom that they are losing.
People like Alex Reid that do it for him, though, innit?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's actually put Mr. Luke, not tomorrow. I keep thinking it's Friday because my timetable has changed at college. Bless him. But I'm going to talk about Rochdale now anyway. It was one of them games where, and I've been saying it for weeks beforehand, we just need a break. We just need a break because our players are running on fumes. So obviously we beat Kidderminster at home, which was absolutely brilliant. And then we had a week off because it was the FA Trophy. And then we just had two postponements. One of them was to be televised, obviously, at Altrincham, but it was a waterlogged pitch. And then obviously the Wealdstone game. And it got to a point where it was like, this is either going to make us or break us this break. And obviously it did break us, where we just seemed quite lethargic. We didn't really know what we were doing on the day. Aldershot are an absolutely fantastic team, as we all know. They play some very, very good stuff. The three players that I wanted us to keep quiet obviously scored. So Talaj was one of them. He scored a really good goal in the 5th minute. Then Ian Henderson, if anyone is going to equalise, it is going to be Hendo for goal, obviously. He equalised not that long after. And then Max Taylor. Max Taylor is so frustrating because he's got so much potential. He was a young Manchester United player, a defender, and it's so frustrating because it shows glimpses of quality, but then it just seems to be getting worse recently. And I don't know if that's a confidence issue. I don't know if it's because obviously he's not really been having the minutes that he does need. It's quite in out with him. He's only really starting when we've got an injury or a suspension. So I don't know if that's coming into it. But yeah, it was just a stupid mistake by Max Taylor, what gave away the penalty. And it's actually Kean Harris who then went on to score the penalty. Another player that I was like, right, we need to keep quiet this game. Obviously scored against us. And then obviously the third player who I really rate as well, it was Barham. He got the third against us and he is absolutely quality. Honestly, he's one of them players where I just think I don't want to be disrespectful because, as we've said, with National League and equality, but I think he could be playing in a higher league and I think he's just absolutely outstanding. So then 3 players who I mentioned beforehand, like, oh, we need to keep, it was a conversation with my dad, we need to keep these players quiet today, all scored against us. But yeah, as I mentioned with Dale, we just seem to be a bit shaky. Obviously, we've lost Louis Molden. It was massive for us. We've had him all season. We've got a new goalkeeper now on loan from Notts County, Tiernan Brooks. To be fair to him, even though obviously it was 3-1, he wasn't at fault for any of the goals. You can't really fault him for that. Our midfield just weren't really on it either. And it was just one of them days where it was just all in all a bad game. Jim McNulty came out in his interview and just said, we weren't good enough. We just didn't show anything really about us. We weren't good enough on the day. And that's not taking anything away from Aldershot as well, because they are a very, very good team. And yeah, we deserve to lose. I'm not going to be one of them fans who sit here and making excuses on the day we deserve to lose. It does reflect it, the scoreline. Yeah.
Talk to us about your new signings and what.
Yes. So the funniest thing was I was actually in work when this broke. So I'm there in work, didn't check my phone or anything. And then I've got all these messages in our Absolute Football lower league group chat. And I'm like, what's going on here? And it was about Kean Hayes. And I went, what? So I looked again, went on it, and we've got this announcement thing, and they put a teaser on, new signing at 5:00, and it was a content thing, you know, the 18 like content thing saying explicit content and number 18 because he was number 18 for us. So I saw that and thought, no, it can't be happening. And then I looked at the promo signing, like what they do, and it was Eminem, guess who's back again. And it was all these, like, this little montage of Kean Hayes. And yeah, my phone just went off, and what a signing. I mean, you've watched me week in, week out, just say how much I miss Kean Hayes. I've called Fleetwood for it as well, which I'm not going to take back because obviously at the time I meant it. I was bitter. Yeah, we've lost one of our star players. But not just that. He was playing really good football and he was kind of progressing as a player. He's only 18 as well. He's enjoying his football. When he scored, he was kissing the badge and stuff, and he just really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm just so glad for him. And at the minute, he has got a minor injury, which he will miss Saturday's game, but the week after he should be back. And I don't know if that's just because he's been playing week in, week out for us, and then obviously he's had a little bit of a break, and then he's just got this injury, and yeah, so it will not be playing at weekend, which obviously is a massive blow. But as well, Cairo Mitchell is back in training, which is massive for us. He was our top scorer before he got injured. Ian Henderson's overtook that now. So Cairo Mitchell's back in training. Devante Rodney is not that far off as well. So looking at it at the minute, our attacking force, we have actually got quite a good unit up front, and this is mental because a few weeks ago I was going on about, oh, we're just relying on Ian Henderson, bless him, he didn't expect to play all these minutes. And now we've got obviously a Chegbulum, we've got Tyree Sinclair, we've got Cairo Mitchell coming back, we've got Devante Rodney, we've obviously got Kean Hayes as well. I think Adam Clayton has had a little bit of a setback, so I don't think he's due back until I think it's mid-March. So that's a bit disappointing for us because he's obviously been an experienced midfield player for us. He's been playing a CDM role. with him there and Harvey Gilmore there, it was allowing Ryan East to play more attacking. And that was when Ryan East was getting the goals. But I think we can afford to do that now because we have got so many attacking options and we're getting people back from injury. And obviously that was massive for us. And then obviously it's come out that we've signed on loan to Manchester United young academy players. I've not really read up too much about them because I was coming on the podcast, so I don't really know their positions and stuff at the minute, but that sounds promising. And all this has actually come from, as I've mentioned previously about investment, as I've mentioned about being fan-owned, the Dale Trust actually put money in to sign Ryan East on a permanent deal because we couldn't actually afford to sign players. So the Trust actually funded the money to sign Ryan East from Bradford, which is massive for us. But obviously we can't really afford to sign other players. So we've actually took it upon ourselves as fans to start a bit similar to Hereford, a bit like an account builder, like a squad builder, so people can donate money. You can be anyone. You can do like a standing order, what can come out monthly, what can come out weekly, and people can just donate to it like a bit of a GoFundMe page. And there's people actually making and auctioning stuff off Rochdale fans, their own stuff that they've had, like memorabilia and everything, doing raffles to raise money to obviously put into our club because
Brilliant.
At the minute we can't obviously afford these players. And it's actually come out today in this Cian Hayes interview. Jim McNulty actually said the reason we've managed to pull off this signing with Cian Hayes is possibly because he's got this minor injury which will set him back for this like week or so, and he's had this injury. He's recovering from it now, so that's one of them, because there were so many EFL clubs apparently interested in him. He was obviously enjoying his football, so as soon as he knew we were interested, he wanted to come back to us. But we can afford Cian Hayes because of this, and it's just amazing to see, because obviously we've not had the best seasons recently. We've been progressively getting worse. Unfortunately, we did have the budget a few seasons ago when Robbie Stockdale was manager, but he didn't really utilise it in the right way. He didn't really get the players that obviously were good for us. And I said last week, and I think a couple of weeks ago as well, that I love what Jim McNulty is doing for us, is bringing the club and the fans together again. It's exciting to watch us again. Don't get me wrong, we might have these results where we lose 3-1, but we're actually winning games as well. We're not losing every week. And Jim McNulty deserves a budget to work with, because already it's his first season. He's doing amazing things with us. I would have snatched being 9th, just missing out on the playoffs at the beginning of the season. Like, I would have took just surviving relegation because of the circumstances and stuff, and obviously just the International League. So I just think with Jim McNulty, he deserves this budget, and just for us fans to come together and kind of give him that. And it might not be a substantial amount. And apparently in this interview as well, it was because of this, and it's because one of our fans, a long-serving fan, actually donated quite a significant amount to this. That's allowed us to get Cian Hayes. So yeah, I just love what Jim McNulty's doing, and just for the fans to come together, I think it's brilliant, especially after the last few seasons where there has been a bit of a divide amongst fans and stuff. Yeah, I'm just happy, really happy. As much as we've lost, we deserve to lose, but yeah, I'm just happy with everything at the minute, and it's just really nice to see football fans come together to kind of achieve something. And we can just sit here now, us fans, and be like, yeah, we've donated to that. We've donated to get this player back who we all wanted. And yeah, I'm happy with that. Sorry for going on.
I got breaking news. I've got to shake the tie. Swindon Town have signed a player. We've signed Aaron Drynan from Orient.
Get in?
I haven't got any clue who he is or what he's like. It says, but it's the latest Irishman since our manager Gav Gunning's been appointed, or his interim manager. I think that's about the 4th Irishman we've signed. So there's a bit of a theme there. So it said he departed Orient, but joined us for an undisclosed fee. But the fact we're not allowed to pay any money for players, that must have been the big zero, I guess. So don't quite know how it's worked. But yes, we have actually signed a player. So that is staggering breaking news at this late.
Nick is on a pitch, Nick is on a pitch.
I've been looking at the transfer thing. Graham, news for Charlton have just signed another player, Kane Ramsey from Hartlepool. I don't know how to say this, so I'm probably going to get the stick that Shah got for Lecky. But Jesse Lingard is going to Seoul in Korea.
All right.
Seoul. Is that how you say it?
It's now. It's now.
Never heard of them.
So I just want to go back to my adopted team, Oxford City. As I say, at the start, we got the clean sheet and a victory, although it still leaves them bottom of the league, and gives them a bit of hope because they play Kidderminster Saturday. And if they win that, and it is going to be a big ask because Kiddy, I think they got Phil Brown now, haven't they? They've won their last 3 games.
Yeah.
So if Oxford do pull off a win, which would be some performance, that could take them, move them up 2 or 3 places in that table, obviously depending on the results. So these are the games they need to win and beat the teams in and around you. So hopefully that result on Saturday gives them a bit of confidence and they can move it forward. So it'll be an interesting result to watch at the weekend to see how they actually do. So it was. I thought I was the kiss of death saying I would support a National League side. Is we're talking National League as well, where they lost 3 on the trot, but have now got their second win in the last 5. So there is a bit of hope there.
Charm now.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I just need to keep holding those up. Clean sheets. That's what we want. Clean sheets.
Love it. Love it.
There's actually
so a plug for them.
There's actually one result actually we haven't probably touched on. Actually, we probably deserve a bit of credit. Fylde beating Bromley. I mean,
no.
I think,
No.
Well, I know you might not necessarily agree, but I think when you look at look in terms of the context of where they are in the league and everything like that, I think that's a brilliant victory for them. That is, against a side that are still pushing Chesterfield. I know they won't go and push them all the way because Chesterfield are going to run away with that league, completely. But that's a massive confidence booster for Fylde in their bid to stay up.
I completely
those results were weird on the Saturday because Oxford City obviously won, Fylde won, Woking won, Kidderminster won. So it's all the teams around them also picked up victories, and it's like, oh Christ, thought you're going to be moving forward a bit, and everybody else themselves win games. So yeah, it's that's probably a bit of a downer for them, but. I guess you just got to do it yourself, haven't you, at the end of the day?
It's getting very interesting at the bottom of the league as well. It's just as exciting as the playoffs.
It is, yeah.
To be fair, yeah. There was a couple of midweek games as well. So Solihull Moors won, Dagenham and Redbridge won. And what?
I've just seen Sam's comment.
Soul. Yeah, FC Soul, pronounced Soul. Bloody love you, Claire. To be fair, I would have pronounced it like you, so I'm not even going to call you for that. Don't know what I would have said. I probably would have put Seol. Seol. Wheelstone free, Aldershot free. And actually, I'm sure Wheelstone had 2 sent off as well. I'm sure they did.
Wow.
Don't quote me, but I'm sure they did. So that was a very interesting game because Aldershot were winning. Then I think Wheelstone pulled it back and ended up. What? She's laughing at me.
No, I'm sorry. Ben's camera froze and it looked like he was asleep.
Oh, no.
He probably is with my conversation.
I think I need some coffee to get myself going again, actually. Yeah,
I know. We're nearly at the end. We're nearly at the end, I promise. So top of the league, no shocks to anybody. We have Chesterfield on 74 points. Bromley are second on 58 points. Barnet are third on 55 points. Then in the playoffs, we have Solihull Moors are fourth on 47. Altrincham are fifth on 46. Oldham are sixth on 45 points. Aldershot now have that last spot on 45 points as well. And then the bottom of the league in 21st, we have Ebbsfleet with 30 points. AFC File below them on 29 points. Kidderminster 23rd on 29 points. And Oxford City are bottom on 27 points. But Woking are on the same points as well as Ebbsfleet. And it's really close, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tight.
Fancy picking the bottom of the league, Uncle Nick.
Well, I can't help where I live. It's only just down the road from me. I was looking at the fixture list as well, and I thought I'll go and watch a game. But every game apart, I think in the middle of April, clashes with Swindon being at home. So
Bloody
I'll have to
hell.
wait till April, unless we start losing game after game after game. Probably both teams will now.
Mr. Luke as well saying that Gate said R8. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And Chris has put, wonder what the points was last season with Notts and Wrexham at this stage. Wonder if Chesterfield are beating that. I think we mentioned, didn't we?
They are,
we
yeah.
mentioned last week, and we said if they carry on the run that they're on, they will.
Yeah, they're on track to beat
points.
them.
Yeah,
which is insane. Like, completely insane.
Considering even before, I think last season, I don't think anyone had got to 100 points before in the National League, and now suddenly, looking at 3 teams
Fleetwood
in the space.
didn't they?
Sorry?
Fleetwood.
Yeah, actually, they might. Yeah, they tell you what, they might have been the ones close to it. Because I don't think Luton, when they got promoted, I don't think when they got anywhere near the 100 points. I think Fleetwood might. I think actually it might be the first 2 teams, I think, to reach 100 points in the same season. That might have been. But I think, I think the way they're going about Chesterfield, I think they're going to absolutely smash that. To be honest, they've been absolutely outstanding. Probably unfortunate not to go up last year, but Notts County were far too good not to go up. Would have been absolute travesty had the season they had if they didn't go up. So it's
our last but one away game of the season is away at Notts County because it got called off a couple of weeks ago because of the weather. And there was some stat that last time we got like automatic promotion or something from League 2, we played Notts County our second to last away game.
Oh,
imagine that.
Could be a full housing for that one as well, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
The what?
There could be a full housing for that, couldn't there? So their support's been outstanding the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the end of the football chat, finally. I mean, it's been a long one, hasn't it? It's been a very long one. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone in the chat as well for joining us. Ben, if anybody wants to find you on socials or to keep up to tracks with Maidstone, where can they find you?
Well, I mean, I think they can probably see my fun now in the chat there is at Benstones FC if they want to keep an eye on our journey still with the FA Cup run. I'm sure by the end of February we're going to be fishing chip paper. So just enjoy it while we can because I was thinking I've been getting a lot more followers recently since this cut run. It's quite mad. So I'm sure I'll be getting a lot more unfollows once the cut run's over. So I'm going to make the most of what I can and milk it for all it's worth.
Thank you so much as well for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed being on it tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And Claire, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter, as it's always going to be called, Claire_Jeffs. I won't unfollow you, Ben.
I know I won't unfollow you either. You're probably hoping that we will.
Yeah, you'll get fed up. You'll get fed up with him, Ben.
Nick is already. Nick, where can we find you?
On Twitter, Ocus_road, and also you can see me on the Fools Rush In podcast, which is on a Friday and a Monday, and that's about it, really. So
I'm running on the pitch now. You've signed a player.
Got to wear the tie every week now, haven't you?
I know.
Yeah, I'll wear it. The lucky Oxford tie. That does hurt me, actually. It's an Oxford tie. That's Oxford United that I don't like.
Yeah.
Oxford City, they're okay.
If anybody wants to find me as well, I am SharXRAFC, and that is on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok. My Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT on all of them socials. And of course, the most important bit, the Absolute Football Podcast socials. So on Twitter, we are Absolute Ball Pod. On YouTube and Twitch, we are Absolute Football Podcast. On TikTok, we are Absolute Football Pod. On Instagram and Threads, we are Absolute Football Podcast _. On Facebook, we have Absolute Football Podcast. You can catch us on a Monday with our Premier League and European show. On Wednesdays is our WSL show. And then on a Thursdays, of course, it is our lower league show. And I'm hoping we can get a win this week as well, so I can be happy. And all of them are on at 8:30. But of course, thank you to each and every person in the chat as well. We really do appreciate you coming on every show, talking football with us. It's always a pleasure. And for just your kind messages and stuff, they really do make us smile. But yeah, that's about it for everyone, isn't it? So have a lovely weekend. Hope all of your teams win as well. And I will catch you all later. Bye.